Good morning, everybody. At least it's morning for us, 9 a.m. And I know for you it's probably early afternoon, I think, 1 o'clock. We're waiting for a few more people to join in. Just as a brief introduction, I'm Woody Smith, the Associate Director of the Texas Intensive English Program. With me here is Terry Simon, the Director of the Texas Intensive English Program. And sitting to my far left, and you can't see, is Stephen Ditto, whose head may pop in. There he is. He is the TIEP International Student Recruitment Coordinator, also a tech wizard helping us out here with the computer technology. So if there are some issues, he is the go-to person for us at this point. I guess I'll start one thing by saying that if you do have any questions, please go ahead and type your questions into a question box that you will see on your screens. We will look at the questions. We will repeat the questions so that everybody can hear what the questions are, and then we will answer them to the best that we can. Let's give another about a minute to see if anybody else joins in. 16. Where are you seeing that? If you can click on it, the question is off. Somebody's asking if there's a problem with the connection. As far as we know, there's not. If you cannot hear us, maybe just send a quick message saying audio not coming through. Sure. Okay. It looks like we did get one more person added in. Welcome. Again, as an introduction, I'm Woody Smith, the Associate Director of the Texas Intensive English Program. With me is Terry Simon, the Director of the Texas Intensive English Program, and as I mentioned, Stephen Ditto to my far left, who is the International Student Recruitment Coordinator here at TIEP, Texas Intensive English Program. Well, we want to welcome all of you to this first webinar, and we will certainly want to address any questions that you may have. We look forward to meeting you early next year, and we wish you a safe trip when you come to the States, and we hope that the 2 weeks that you will spend with us will be a very positive experience for you and for us also. And we look forward to it. So on behalf of the Texas Intensive English Program and the Texas International Education Consortium, I'm delighted to welcome you to this the first of 3 pre-departure webinars for the 2-week development program that you will be participating on. The next 2 webinars are scheduled for Friday, December 18th at 9 a.m. and then 9 a.m. our time, exactly, which is where we are right now. And then the 3rd webinar is Thursday, January 17th, and I do not believe we have a time set yet for that. Is that correct, Eric?
Probably the same time.
Probably the same time, but again, these webinars are being recorded. You will be able to access them afterwards if you would like to listen to them again, or for those people who are not able to join in during the live session. We will send you the link information to the webinars probably by sometime tomorrow. Stephen, is that probably logical? Yeah, so that you'll know how to access the webinars. But in any case, if you have any questions at any time, please do not hesitate to email either Terry Simon or myself, Woody Smith again, and we will be happy to answer any questions that you may have. As a brief overview for this webinar, I want to just talk briefly about TIEC, which is the Texas International Education Consortium. TIEP, which is Texas Intensive English Program, and also give some brief information about Austin, about Texas, and about weather in January when you're going to be here, and maybe some things that you need to pack as far as clothing, a little bit of information about accommodations where you will be staying, and about the meals that you will take and where you will take them, and again, contact information just to repeat how you can contact us at any time. During the next two seminars, we'll go into more detail about what to bring to Austin, other things to bring, about transportation while you are here in Austin, how to get from the airport to the place where you're staying, the residence, vice versa. And then in the third webinar, we'll go into more detail about the actual academic components of the program. So to begin with, the Texas International Education Consortium. I would also suggest that you look at the websites that exist, both for the Texas International Education Consortium, TIEC, and the Texas Intensive English Program, TIEP. I'll give you those websites a little bit later. They'll give you a lot more information about the two organizations. But as a general overview, TIEC, the Texas International Education Consortium, is a private, nonprofit corporation founded in 1985. It delivers a wide range of services by utilizing the extensive human resource base of 32 public universities in the state of Texas, as well as other U.S. institutions. The TIEP Board of Directors consists of the President and Chief Executive Officer of each of these 32 Texas universities that participate in TIEC. The Texas Intensive English Program, TIEP, is a division of TIEC. And TIEP provides exemplary English language instruction and student services to individuals whose native language is not English. Since 1965, TIEP has helped more than 30,000 students and professionals achieve their goals. TIEP is accredited by the Commission on English Language Program Accreditation, CEA. And since 2012, TIEP has had a second location on the campus of Lamar University in Beaumont, Texas. And if you will note that I said since 1965 and do a quick math calculation, you'll realize that we are currently celebrating 50 years of English language instruction. We just had a very nice ceremony yesterday honoring or in tribute to the fact that we've been teaching English now for over 50 years here. TIEP has an extensive history of conducting training programs for EFL teachers, both at TIEP here in Austin and at locations abroad. The over 40 EFL teacher training programs that TIEP has conducted include programs for Korean teachers of English, sponsored by the Fulbright Commission in Korea, Japanese teachers of English, sponsored by various Japanese government ministries, and English teachers from South America and Central America, basically from Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Costa Rica, Paraguay, and Uruguay, all sponsored by the United States Department of State. While you are here, Terry, would you like to address for a few minutes the fact that there will be another group that I mentioned?
Yes. In early January, I think on January 4th, a group of 22 EFL teachers from South Korea will be arriving, and they will be participating in a program at TIEP for 7 weeks. And so we have scheduled a couple of opportunities for you to meet with them and interact with them, have lunch with them, and also share ideas about how you teach English, how they teach English in South Korea and how you teach English in Brazil. So I think that'll be a wonderful experience, opportunity for all of you to meet these other English teachers. They teach from elementary school through high school. I believe the majority of them are middle school teachers, perhaps middle school and high school teachers.
Yeah, probably the majority are middle, but we do have elementary and high school both this time, all three. All right. Again, what I said earlier, go ahead and contact or look at the websites for both of the organizations, www.tiec.com for the Texas International Education Consortium, and www.tiep.edu for the Texas Intensive English Program. Both TIEC and TIEP are located in the same building here in Austin at 1103 West 24th Street in an area that is called the West Campus area, which is just west of the main campus, main part of the University of Texas campus. Again, very convenient location. What about Austin? Well, Austin is the capital of Texas, which is a surprise to many people because they think that either Houston or Dallas would be, but no, Austin is the capital. It is the fourth largest city in Texas after Houston and Dallas and San Antonio, with approximately 2 million people living in the metropolitan area here. It's a fast-growing city, it's a high-tech city, and its citizens are among the most inventive and creative and educated in the United States. It's dynamic, it's high-tech, student-friendly city. And in addition, it has received or been given the moniker, the name of live music capital of the world, and that's thanks to the myriad live music venues that exist throughout the whole city, many of which are in the central area and close enough that you will be able to visit if you so desire. Texas is a large state. You will be in Austin, which is fairly much the geographical center of the state. It is the second largest in area in the United States after Alaska. It is the second largest in population after California. So it is a growing state. It is a large state. There are a lot of wide open spaces, but a city is a city. Austin you'll enjoy, and we look forward to welcoming you to this city here. What about the weather in January when you're here? Well, for us, January is winter, and it is usually, January and February are usually the coldest months that we have here in Austin. The lows at night can range anywhere from 0 degrees Celsius to 10 degrees Celsius, sometimes colder at night. Daytime temperatures can range from plus 10 degrees Celsius, maybe higher, plus 20, but also can be colder. And during any given day, the temperatures can fluctuate. So what we suggest to people who are coming to Austin in January is to be prepared for cold weather, rainy weather, nice weather. So bring clothing that you can layer, that you can take off if you need to if you're inside a building and it may get warm, although heat is maybe not as much inside the buildings as what some of you may be used to if you live in an area of Brazil that has cold enough weather. So you may need sweaters inside the building. So again, clothing that you can layer, light sweaters plus a jacket, gloves. Rain, possibly. The prediction is that during January there will be rain, thanks to the weather patterns in the world right now. Snow, it does happen here, and it's not usual, but it can happen. So be prepared, maybe with gloves or a cap, just in case the weather does turn cold and it gets very windy and wet. In the subsequent seminar, we'll talk more specifically about other items that you should bring, but since we were talking about weather, that's the reason we wanted to give you a few heads up right now, about clothing that you might want to bring. Where will you be staying? Well, you will be in a dormitory, a student residence hall, University Towers, which is a very nice facility just a few blocks from our school. So it's about at maximum 5-minute walk between the two buildings. We are still working on final room placements, and we'll give more information in subsequent seminars about the actual rooms themselves. But you should also know that most of your meals will be taken there in the dormitory. They have a student cafeteria, so breakfast, lunch, and dinner, for the most part, you will have there. Your rooms, however, are in more of a suite type environment, S-U-I-T-E, suite. And with that, you will have a kitchenette in your suites, along with a refrigerator, a stove, a microwave. So it gives you the option also of maybe purchasing snacks or some light food for late at night if you would like, and keep them in your rooms. There will be a few instances where meals will be provided elsewhere. For example, there'll be a welcome lunch that we will take you to a restaurant, plus a closing lunch, and maybe one or two times during your visits to the public schools in the Austin area. Again, most of the meals, though, at University Towers dormitory. What we would ask at this point is that by the time of the next webinar, we would like to have roommate assignments set up. If there is a preference that you have of somebody that you would like to room with, who you would like to room with, just email us that, please, as soon as you can, so that will help us in making sure that we get the information provided to the dormitories and that we know how the rooms are being divided up. Again, I said that there is, feel free to contact us at any time. Terry Simon, his email, and I believe the one you use is terry.simon, is that right? Terry dot Simon, S-I-M-O-N, at TIEC.org. Or me, you can do Woody, W-O-O-D-Y, Smith, S-M-I-T-H, at TIEC.org, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. I don't see any other questions coming in at this time. Again, feel free to type in questions. We will address them if possible. Terry, something else for me at this point?
Just to welcome everybody, and to let you know that, as Woody mentioned, tomorrow we will email you the link for this webinar, and also information about the webinar next Friday. This webinar is a little shorter than the others will be, but we wanted to get started and let you know particularly about the weather and clothing, in case you live in a very warm area of Brazil where it's never cold and need to make some purchases for some heavier clothing for the winter here. So I believe that's all we have for now. If anyone has any questions at this time that you'd like to share with us now, please type them in. Otherwise, we will sign off.
All right, let me just wind up by saying that, you know, during the third webinar, we will go into very much detail on the activities, the course activities, the cultural activities. So we will be able to address those questions at that time. I think we've got a very good 2-week calendar set up for this program. So expect more information about that during the third webinar. The second webinar will go into more detail about other types of items to bring, electrical currents that we have over here as far as appliances, if you want to bring hair dryers or anything else that's electrical, we'll talk about that. Also about your arrival in Austin, how you will get from the airport to the dorm, and other transportation issues. Again, I think that's it. Waiting to see if there are any other questions. Let me just scroll down on there. There's a scroll button. Okay, here's a question. How many people can share the same room?
There are 25 of you, and so 24, there are 20 females and 5 males. So the 20 females will share bedrooms, and 4 of the males will share a bedroom, and 1 of the males will have a single room. And as Woody said, the general configuration is a suite. There are 2 bedrooms in a suite, and then we believe there'll be two bathrooms, 2 bedroom, 2 bath suites. But there are also some 1 bedroom, 1 bath rooms placements. We're waiting to hear from the dormitory what specific rooms we will have. They're working on that now as they're finding out, you know, how many of the current residents will be returning next semester. So by the next webinar, we believe we'll have the tentative roommate assignments and have more information about the specific room configurations.
But in any case, there will be the bedroom. There's also a living area, a living space, and a kitchenette in each of those. So they actually are very spacious, and for student dormitories, in my opinion, are very nice. Location is also excellent,
Right.
both for the university and for us at our school.
And this dormitory has very large walk-in closets, so should be plenty of space
Right.
for your belongings.
Right. I see another question here. Is there any hotel to recommend near the dorm? We're going to be arriving on the 16th. Yeah. So for those maybe who are arriving earlier, I suppose we're going to let them contact Kristen. That was one option. We have one person who is working with us to help in the rooming questions, and we will send contact information of her contact.
It may be possible to move into the dormitory a day early.
Yeah.
2 days early and just move into your rooms early.
And she has said that she's willing to work with you all on an individual basis to help you find location, either at the dorm if that's available for individual pay for those extra days. If it's a hotel, there are not really any hotels that are close to the school. There are a lot of bed and breakfasts, and there are a few hotels that are a little pricey, a little expensive. Anything within central Austin will also be in the downtown area, which is not too far from here, will also be somewhat pricey. If you want a hotel, I would suggest Googling hotels and then maybe asking us, you found these, what do we know about them?
And we'll check. Some of our teacher training groups have stayed in an extended stay hotel, and the Korean group will actually be staying in a hotel that's a couple of miles from where our building is located, and we may be able to get a special rate for anyone who's arriving early there. So we'll have that information next week. But the most economical, I guess, solution or whatever arrangement would be to stay in the dormitory.
Right, and as far as logistics, it would be the best. The extended stay hotel that Terry was mentioning is very good. It's centrally located in Austin, but it's still about a 15-minute bus ride to the school area. But again, that would just be another option if you're interested in that. I do see another question here, which is a good one, I think. Is there a curfew? No, I suppose. No.
No, but you do need to be present when classes begin. And most days, it's 8 o'clock, 8
Right.
a.m. that the activities begin.
Right.
So and next week, we'll be sharing with you some of the regulations in the dormitory that we want to make you aware of. And one of them is a no alcohol policy, for example. But we'll provide more information about that.
But at the same time, close by, because this is a university area, there are clubs and other places to go out and meet people or listen or watch people and enjoy a beer or something else. So for those of you who like doing that, there will definitely be the opportunity for that. Let's see. Keep scrolling down here. Yeah, the dorm itself really, I don't think has a curfew. No, they don't. This is here. Again, I think as Terry mentioned, the main thing there is just the no alcohol policy within the dorm itself. Yeah, it's called University Towers. And again, I'd suggest if you would like, go to their website. Just Google or look up University Towers.
Yes, universitytowers.com.
And actually, it'll have a virtual tour through the dorm. You'll see the rooms. You'll also see the fact that, well, there is a swimming pool. Unfortunately, I think it's outside, so it's probably not going to be applicable now. But there are other amenities there that the website will actually explain and go through. Trying to read the questions here. I understand you'll be sending us the name and number of a person. Looks like it says that probably, I guess, who you'll be rooming with. I think is what the question's asking here. What we're going to do is to go ahead and assign um, people to rooms. That's why we're asking if you have a preference that you would like to room with somebody, let us know. Then we will try our best to get that arranged as such. Certainly once you're here, if there are any changes that you would like to make, you can work with the dorm or with Kristen, whose information we'll give to you about changes at that time. This is meant for us to do it like this is meant to help ease the actual check-in at the dorm when you get there, so that you can get checked into the A room as soon as possible and not have to wait. Are there any activities planned for the weekend? Are free to go around?
Um, the weekend, I guess in the middle of the program, there is a host dinner on Saturday night, but that is the only programmed activity. So you would be free Saturday morning and afternoon, and then all day Sunday.
Right. So the host dinner is meant to be an opportunity for you all to have a meal, share a meal, a night meal with a local host, either in their house or out someplace, depending on the preference for the host, what they would like to do, and to share experiences between you and the host itself. You will not spend the night at the host family. It'll just be meant to be an evening experience with a local family. And I know several people are extremely interested so far and excited about doing this. So other than that, as Terry said, that's it for the weekend. You're here only one full weekend. There are definitely shopping opportunities around here if people are interested in that. We will have plenty of information to let you know what you can do on the weekends for shopping.
And the evenings are free.
Most evenings,
Most evenings are free. There's some suggested optional activities some of the evenings, but the evenings will be free. Generally, the activities will end around 4:35 p.m.
Right.
Scheduled activities.
And just so that you know, since it is winter here, it does get dark at about 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. So at 6 in the evening, it will be dark, but yet there's a lot that goes on within the central part of Austin. So a lot of activity, a lot of things that you can plan on doing. Let's see. Will there be anybody to pick us up when we arrive at the airport? We need to get the campus on our own. Yeah, that's a good question. As I said, at the next on the next webinar, we'll go into a little bit more detail about transportation from the airport to the dormitory. What I would also ask is for everybody to send us your flight information. You will be making your own arrangements from the airport to the dorm, but we can certainly help you in letting you know what it is you need to do. We'll give more information about that, like I said, at the next webinar, more details. The airport is about a 20 to 30-minute taxi ride to the dormitory. There are other options, however, although public transportation is probably not one of them. Austin is still not to the point where we would like to be regarding public transportation. But we will give you more information on the next webinar about that, because that is a good question.
You might also say this is smaller or it's very easy to
Yeah, the Ausin Airport is, while it is growing and getting bigger, it's still relatively speaking a small airport. Taxi service and other types of service, something called super shuttle, are very readily accessible. So that's not a major concern here for you. Is each of you going to have a key, I assume, to the dorm room? Yes, each of you will have a dorm room key. I don't know if they use keys now or if they use cards now, but something, I think it's a card that you would insert into a slot that allows you to get in. But yes, everybody will have one, so you don't have to worry about staying with somebody if need be. Is it possible to name 3 people to share the same room? I would suggest you could say 3, and if we could put you into the suite, it wouldn't be necessarily the same room, but the same suite.
Same suite.
Suite, which would be 2 people in one bedroom, 1 person in another bedroom, but you're sharing the common living area and the kitchenette. That certainly would be a possibility. So please go ahead and suggest that. Is it possible to rent a car while we're there and use the parking lot of the campus? Ooh. Parking is a major issue in Central Austin, as it is in most any other city. Renting a car, I have a concern about military address.
Well, we don't have, there's no prohibition on renting a car unless the State Department has one.
That's where I would say I'm not sure about that.
Some groups that we receive, teachers, the sponsor says you may not drive. And that's been very clear with some of our groups from Korea and from Japan as well, and the participants are not to leave Texas and so forth. But to rent a car would be expensive, and then there would be the additional cost of parking. The dormitory does have a parking garage, but then there would be a cost for.
Cost of that, and I don't know what that cost is right now.
Yeah, and it would be much more economical than not the few nights that you're here or the one weekend day probably to just take taxis around Austin. You know, and you will have bus passes.
We'll give you a city bus pass, which will allow you to ride many of the city buses.
Right, without any cost, unlimited. But if you wanted to go somewhere that was not conveniently located on a bus route, then I would suggest taking a taxi, which would be economical if 2, 3, 4 people share a taxi.
Okay, who should we send our flight information to? Go ahead and send it to me, Woody Smith. So Woody, W-O-O-D-Y .Smith at TIEC.org. It looks like that's all of the questions. Stephen, you want to take a look to see if you see anything else?
Bom dia.
And we do have 1 or 2 people here who do speak a little bit of Portuguese, just FYI. So maybe your task is to find out who they are when you get here.
This last one was, will there be a free shuttle from the airport to the door?
Okay.
Then we covered that.
Don't they submit receipts and reimburse?
Yeah. Good. Yeah, what I didn't mention is in your transportation from the airport to the dorm, what we would ask you to do is keep a receipt. If it's a taxi, keep a receipt. Get the taxi driver to sign off on a receipt. Or if it's a super shuttle, which again we will explain more in detail next week, you'll have a receipt for that. Give that to us, and we will reimburse you for the cost. We'll also explain to you then about departure, how to handle that as far as getting from the dorm to the airport. So I believe that was all of the questions. If for some reason we did miss a question, please email us and we will respond, and then also address the question in the next webinar. Again, we look forward to seeing all of you. We wish you a safe trip to the States and to Texas, and especially if this is your first time here. But again, don't hesitate to ask us if you have any questions. That's it from me right now.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Yep. Thank you for your attention and for logging in.